Hello everyone, it's Mrs. Brayband again. I am here to help you with your target sheet from Unit 2C. This is where we're graphing quadratics. There are a number of versions that we're going to graph, so I'm going to start with the first target 8 and just do standard form version and make other videos to fit the other forms. Again, you can graph quadratics in many ways. This is just one. So when we see it in standard form, what we want to make sure that we kind of do is like say to ourselves, what's important to find in this order? Well, all I really know is A, B, and C. So it might be helpful if I could find the axis of symmetry, and that's that folding line in the middle, and then I can count from the vertex to find the other points. So I, again, am going to need that axis of symmetry. So I'm going to put up here how to find that formula, and we're going to use that to get this done. So I'm going to first list my A is 1, my B is 6, my C is 10. Remember, I'm just looking at the numbers in this equation. And then I'm going to use that formula that I just stated. X equals the opposite of B over 2 times A. I'm going to finish that out, and I'm going to get my X value for that symmetry line is -3. That means right at -3, 1, 2, 3, you can kind of do this dotted line, which represents an invisible folding line of the parabola that I'm going to end up getting. Now, I need, obviously, to find a point. So in order to get that point, I'm going to substitute this -3 back into the original problem. It's going to end up giving me a vertex of -3 comma something. So let's put it in there. -3 squared is 9 minus 18 plus 10. That's going to give me 10 and 9 is 18. That looks like it's going to be 1. So I can now take that point -3, 1, and put a dot there for my vertex and realize that that's the start of my graph. Now what I also want to do before I get going in graphing other points of symmetry on that parabola is I want to look at the original A value. If that's positive, I know my parabola is going to open upward, and that's going to help me get the rest of my graph going. The other thing that I want to look at besides positive direction is I want to look at the y-intercept. That's always an important one to graph. So if I plug in 0 to the original problem, I'm going to get 10 out, and that's going to help me get another point. So let's use that effectively. Again, we've got a vertex, we've got a y-intercept, we know it opens up. Symmetry means folding line, so right now this 10 is 3 away from the folding line. If I go the other direction in 3, that's going to give me another nice point. So again, I was at merciful heavens, Mrs. Brayband. You graphed this wrong. Back it up, back it up, back it up, back it up, back it up. We're not going to do that. I'm not going to start my video again, so just watch my correction. -3, left, 1, 2, 3, left, and then up 1. I apologize for that. Let's get that corrected. Back 3, up 1, 1, 2, 3, up 1. There's our vertex right there. -3, +1. And now I can go back and put that 10 there, and I can squeeze that line again so I can see how many spots away I am. So I'm 3 spots away that way for 10. I've got to go 3 spots away. Ooh, I am running off the graph because I'm clear over here at -6, comma 10. But I do have enough to get at least my curve drawn. Now, a lot of instructors want you to be a little bit more detailed, and they're going to want not only for you to show that it goes up forever, but they want another point. So if you're back at this vertex and you go up 1, over 1, boom, there's a dot, up 1, over 1, boom, there's a dot. You can try and find 5 points here, and then you can label them if you choose. So from the -3, we went back to the right and up 1 more, and then we went over to the left and went up 1 more. This was 0, 10. This was 3 away. I'm a little off center, aren't I? 3 away, so what's that? Oh, I already said it, -6, 10. So some want you to clearly label those. Now, mine doesn't look so clear, nor does it look so balanced. Shame on me. I apologize. Please do a little bit better than me. That is one version. Okay? Let's go down and see why this version here is going to look a little differently, all because you've got this 2 right there for the A value. So let's get started. A is 2. That's going to mean it stretches. The parabola is going to be a little bit taller and tighter. B is -8. C is going to be 5. So let's do that X symmetry line. Opposite of B over 2 times A. That's going to be positive 8 over 4 is 2. So when I start my vertex, I have 2 comma something. So let's put 2 into the original problem up here. 2 times 2 times 2 is going to be 8 minus 16 plus 5. 8 minus 16 is -8. What? Let's write that out. -3. Okay. Over 2, let's be more careful, Mr. Fairbairn, and down 3. Put the V there. Put our symmetry line, if it helps you fold on it. Okay, and now I need to make sure I get another point. Y-intercept is always an easy one to find. That's the C value, so this is 0, 5. So I'm going to put that there, and I'm going to recognize I'm 2 away, so I'm going to go 2 the other direction. Let's label that. So I was at 2 and I went 2 further, so that's 4. Okay, if I could just get 2 more points, let's do that. Now watch what I do. There's this method called the 1, 3, 5 method, and it's just finding the difference between the dots. You can only use the 1, 3, 5 method if you have a 1 for your A. If you have a 2 for your A, you have to stretch your numbers. So you have to stretch all of these by 2, so now it becomes a 2, 6, 10 problem. And that literally means we're just going to count the differences between the points. So watch what I mean. Would you just see in red? So from the vertex, instead of going up 1, out 1, you're going to go up 2, out 1, up 2, out 1, because there's a stretch of 2, a multiple of 2. If you're going to do the 6, from this dot you just found, you're going to go up 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and out 1. Oops, looks, we already landed there. And then again, you go up 6, not 1. So this is stretching because there's a 2 out in front. So let's connect these dots, and then we'll label them, and that'll be a good representation of what we have. All right, let's make these a little darker. Remember, this was at 2, -3. So if we went out to the right 1, that became 3. If we went up 2, that's a -1. So that's going to be a balance of the -1 there on symmetry, and it was at 2, and it went back 1, so we're at 1, and we already labeled the other dots. So there's a couple different methods on how to find your dots for your graph. Reach out if you have any questions.